You're welcome back to the second half of our topic, high-level programming languages. In our previous class, we learned about high-level programming languages. And I said that high-level programming languages are written in algorithm, keywords, expressions that enable a user to make an expression. I also said that high-level programming languages are problem-solving programs. Here today, we're going to look at some of the features of high-level programming languages. High-level languages allow a programmer to create codes similar to English language, and such are called tight English. Like you can see on the board, you have a statement called let. This is an example of a keyword. Let B represents C plus 2 plus times D. The asterisk is used to express the computation in programming. It means multiplication. So this expression is being represented by the variable called B. So that is what I mean by that high programming languages allow users to create codes similar to English language. Ordinarily, for a layman, seeing the word let, you know that the variable out there, it's used to represent these values. In the full program, you'll be given the value of C plus 2 and the value of D. And that makes that problem easy to solve. Once these language instructions is input into the system, and you press the enter key, it automatically gives you the result of such expression. Now let's go over to the features of high-level programming languages. The high-level programming languages have only one command used there, just like you have on the line statement, let B be equals to C plus 2 times D. The next you have is all high-level languages must use two methods of translation. And these two methods of translation are the interpreted and compiled method. Interpreted and compiled method. What do I mean by interpreted and compiled method is that the interpreted languages, for you to be able to interpret a programming language into the system, you must have an interpreter installed into the computer. And as such, when you code the program into the system, the interpreter runs or translates the source program into the machine-oriented language. The source program is the language being interpreted, and the machine language is called the object-oriented code. And that is the language the computer understands. Another feature we're going to look at here is that high-level languages are portable. What do I mean by that? High-level languages have the capability of being transferred from one particular computer to another. And what that brings to our mind is that particular program that can be transferred from one system to another means such program is efficient. It's efficient and can be run on any type of computer. The next you have there is modes of execution. How are these programming languages executed when they are input into the system? There are basically three modes of executing high-level languages. The first you have there is the interpreted language. You have the compiled language and the translated languages. For you to be able to interpret a language, like I said earlier on, you must have an interpreter installed into your computer. So the interpreter plays the role of converting the source code, being the language you're translating to the computer machine code. You must have an interpreter installed into the system. And now such language is read and executed directly with what? No compilation stage. Examples of interpreted languages include the basic language. Basic, like we learned earlier, means beginners, all-purpose, symbolic, instruction, code. You also have the list. List means list processing. And you have the logo. These are all examples of interpreted languages. Another example of the mode of executing high-level language is the compiled language. Now, for you to have a compiled language, it requires the programmer to install a compiler program into your system to convert the programming source code into what? Executable machine language. And that is the language the computer understands. The machine language is the object code. So we convert source code into what? Object code. And for you to do that, you must have a compiler, a translator inside your system. Examples of compiled programs that can be compiled are the Pascal, a program named after Blaise Pascal. You have the COBOL, Common Business, which means Common Oriented Business Language. And you have the Fortran. Fortran means Formula Translation. The last there you have the translated language. Now, BASIC is an example of a translated language. The high-level language can be converted into machine code, and as such, you have a translated language. Let's look out there on categories of high-level language. Categories of high-level language. Basically, high-level languages are classified into what? 3, namely the 3rd generation high-level language. You have the 4th generation level language. You also have the 5th generation level language. Now, how do we distinguish between these 3 high-level languages? They are classified into this. The 3rd generation level language, they are designed to make programming easy for humans to understand. And such program instructions include elements like variables, which I've earlier explained from the onset, that you have statements like let a variable represent an expression of this. When you see this on a programming language, it is written on line statements and they are executed sequentially from top to bottom. Examples of such 3rd generation high-level languages are the BASIC, the C, C++, COBOL, Fortran, and ALGO. These are all examples of 3rd generation high-level programming languages. You also have another category called the 4th generation. The 4th generation programming languages are designed to build specific programs like the ones used in business. We have examples like the Oracle reports. Like today we have the Pinnacle mostly used in the banks and other financial institutions to compute customers' transactions, the deposits and the withdrawal. So the 4th generation high-level programming language include the Oracle reports, the PostScripts, and the Bolan. Such high-level programming languages are designed to solve the higher problems encountered with the third generation programming languages. The last you have there is the fifth generation high-level programming language, which is designed to solve problems. Earlier in the previous class, like I told you, we have programming languages are designed to solve what? Problems. Problems like a programmer could write a programming language like a program to calculate the area of a rectangle. Now, on such program, you specify your variables in line statement using what? Programming statement to illustrate that. And this type of programming language is classified under the fifth generation because such are designed to solve what? Problems using constraints given to the program, unlike others that are written in an algorithm. Examples of fifth generation computers include the Prolog and the Mercury. Let's look at other high-level programming languages. These are called very high-level programming languages, and they include the query language and the markup language. Query languages are computer language used to make queries into databases. What do I mean by that? Query languages, for instance, you have a database program. They are used to ask the program questions based on your database. For instance, you have a database of SS3 database on results. Now, results is input in that database. You can make a query to that database asking the program to display the number of students that passes what? Mass and further mass. When you make such query, the system will retrieve results that matches your what? Your query. The next one you have there is the markup language. A good example of the markup language is the HTML. HTML means what? Hypertext Markup Language, which is one of the foundation of the World Wide Web. HTML is the lingua franca of the web. It is used to create what? Hypertext documents. Now, these are called very high level language. The query language and the markup language are called very high level language. And that brings us to the end of this lesson, which we are going to look on the next page where you have your classwork and your assignments. Thank you very much. Get a feedback from you on the next class.